What does it take to have a lasting, loving relationship? Find out what fear-based beliefs and assumptions undermine love and lead us to suffering and trauma. And on our green tips, defending rain gardens. Next on Living Smart. Born in a family of healers in rural Mexico. Growing up, he embraced the centuries-old legacy of native healing and the esoteric Toltec tradition. He then became a medical surgeon, but left it all to carry on the oral tradition of his peoples. He began to share his wisdom with the bestseller publication of The Four Agreements, a practical guide for personal freedom. Since then, he has written many books, but today we discuss The Mastery of Love, a practical guide to the art of relationship. Why is that?
Well, because this is the most important part of any relationship. If we cannot give what we don't have, then if we don't love ourselves, how can we pretend to love anybody else, really? You know, if we are angry, if we have jealousy, that's what we will give.
Right.
Then the first thing that we need to do is to understand ourselves, to give ourselves love, to enjoy ourselves, have faith in ourselves, and once we have it, we can give it to everybody around us.
But how is it that, I mean, we're supposed to know that, yes, you have to love yourself. How do you go about doing that? That seems to be so hard.
Well, it looks hard, but it's not really that hard. You know, like if we have a pet, a dog, a cat, we just love it unconditionally. Well, why we don't do the same with our own physical body? We have to treat better the dog than ourselves. Exactly.
Right.
Then if we judge ourselves and we playing with guilt, with shame, with blame, this is what we're going to share with other people.
Exactly.
And I can say, you know, I love you, but let me control you. It doesn't work that way.
Mastery of love. You call it the mastery. It sounds like you have to practice to get to be a master of love. Tell me about that.
Well,
why do you have to be
practice
practicing?
Made the master.
Right.
You know, like we speak a language, whatever language we speak, it takes years to learn a language until we master the language and everything becomes automatic. Then we learn that it was not safe to love, it was not safe to be ourselves, and we hear from everybody say that nobody's perfect, and we start searching for perfection. Well, it's not true. This one is the biggest lie that humans believe right now. You know, when you're looking for perfection, it's because you don't see yourself. We are perfect just the way we are. But with all the opinions that we receive, we judge ourselves, we are not happy with ourselves, and it's obvious we cannot give what we don't have.
Right.
When we finally recover awareness and we see the truth, we start loving ourselves unconditionally. Then if we love ourselves unconditionally, that's what we can give. We no longer pretend to love anybody else. We love them. And we really don't need that anybody love us because we are loved. Just by being ourselves, we will be always happy.
Right, right. Now, what are the fear-based beliefs and assumptions that undermine relationships?
You know, it's about trying to control, the fear of not controlling somebody else. Then when, let's say, we get married, a war of control begins. Let's see who's stronger, and let's see who will surrender. And this is not really love. You know, love is unconditional. But always need to start with yourself, because I repeat, you will not give what you don't have. Then if you don't love yourself, we only will pretend to love somebody else.
Right, and you have to do your own personal spiritual work and personal work to really get to that point where you can actually love someone unconditionally.
Yes, we can see that a relationship is between two persons, and these two halves. And you're completely responsible for your half. You're not responsible for the other half.
So if you're unhappy, one of the rules here is you start working on yourself.
Exactly.
You can't work on the other person.
Exactly.
You have to work on yourself.
You cannot rule anybody else. You know, you're not responsible for whatever they do.
What you call their dream. Whatever their dream is, that's their dream, not yours.
Then we need to respect the other half.
It is really simple, but we are complicated. We complicate things. You said if you meet someone and you like them at first, because this is normal, right? It's biological, it's chemistry, it's great. And then, that dies down, usually 4 months. But you say, look, you don't like them anymore. Be at peace with it. Accept them as they are. And if you can't accept them as they are, just walk off.
Exactly.
We don't do that. We like the drama. Why is it that we like the drama of these relationships that are gone bad?
Well, this is so simple because we grow up in the middle of that drama. When we were children, we witness our parents, we witness our big brothers or sisters, the relatives. We watch soap operas, we see so many movies, we read so many books, and that way is what looks normal in society. But normal doesn't mean that it's just
it's
truth.
Good, right? No. Or the truth, right?
Exactly.
Now we
hardly can wait to grow up in order to go into that drama.
Right.
And we practice and practice
until
we
movies
become
or something.
Drama king.
Right, it's not just drama queens, it's also drama kings. Now, you talk about also the second mastery, and that's the mastery of transformation. And the mastery of transformation, I want you to explain what that is, but also that leads us to be spiritual warriors. Tell me about that.
Oh, well, the mastery of transformation, we need to be aware that our body is changing all the time and our mind is changing all the time. And we only live right here and right now. This is the reality. When we accept that, we don't go against the current. We don't have resistance, and it's so easy for us to accept whatever life brings to us. We adapt it and we enjoy it instead of resisting.
Is that going with the flow?
Yes. It's so easy. It's like being in water. If you're water, you take any shape.
Right. You adapt.
And being like water, you can break any resistance also if that's what you want.
Is that what being a spiritual warrior means?
Well, being a warrior is because we have a war in our mind. And a war that perhaps we are not aware of it. But it's only true for the human mind, not for the rest of the species on Earth. And we learn from when we were children that war is between good and evil. And it's not exactly true. Good and evil is just the result of the real conflict that exists in our mind. And the conflict that really exists in our mind is between the truth, that is only one, and the lies. There are millions of lies.
Well, how do we know the truth, though? What is the truth?
That is exactly the point. We don't know the truth. But the truth is what is real, and the truth exists long, long before the creation of humanity, and will exist long, long after the extinction of humanity. The truth is always truth, and it doesn't matter if we believe or not the truth. The truth is truth, and on the other hand, all the lies only exist because we believe in those lies. If we no longer believe in all those lies just disappear.
Can you give me examples of that? What would be the truth as opposed to the lies?
Well, the truth is
what is.
This is truth.
Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But we call it a cup.
Right.
And this is truth only in English. But in Japanese, this is not a cup. So in Italian, it's not a cup. In any other language, it's not a cup. In English, it's a cup because millions of us agree to call it a cup. Right. Then, by agreement, it's a cup. Then it's a relative truth.
So what you mean to be saying is that when you really know yourself and you've done your own spiritual work, it's your truth and not what everybody else is saying about you.
Then we can go a little further than that. If you see your own hand, touch it, this is the truth. This is the truth.
Right.
But if you ask me, Miguel, what are you? I will tell you, well, I don't know. And that's the truth, I don't know.
You spend a chapter talking about a man who did not believe in love, and I really enjoyed this chapter. Tell me why it is so important to realize that your happiness does not depend on someone else.
Because it was just a belief. First, let's see, this man have a relationship.
Right.
He gave his heart. He was a broken heart. And he see the result of that, and he said, well, this is not love.
He doesn't believe in love after that. He's
love
broken.
Doesn't exist, really.
Right.
And this is just an invention from the poets, from it's just a story. It's not exactly true. He was so convinced that he tell everybody, hey, guys, love doesn't exist. It's just like a relationship between a drug addict and someone who provides the drug.
Right.
Then the one who's a drug addict needs the provider. He will do whatever, will sacrifice anything to have that little drug. And they say, this is not love. Love doesn't exist. Then in that story, he finds a lady that...
He falls for.
Yes, he falls for, but not really as in love until later. Right. It becomes a great friendship. Right. And he discovered that there was not a provider or drug addict there.
Right.
Then everything was so perfect until he discovered that he was in love with her.
Right.
And when he found out that, he wanted to give her everything.
Right.
He said, I'm going to make her happy. I'm going to give all my hopes, everything to her. And he's represented in the star that he pulled and give it to her. But she cannot be responsible for him. Then she let go the star. He has another broken heart. And again, he becomes the man who don't believe in love.
Yeah, the moral of the story is no
You're
one can make you happy. You make yourself
Exactly.
happy. You are responsible for your own happiness. And
Then let's see, when we get married, we exchange rings and we promise each other, I'm going to make you happy. You're going to make me happy. And this
it
is
doesn't
not
work
true.
that way. And you make it clear that you're responsible for yourself.
Yes.
For everything you do, and you create your own reality.
Many people come with me and ask me, well, what about the soulmate? I'm looking for my soulmate everywhere.
Always that soulmate.
Well, what is the answer? Well, I can tell you that you are the love of your life.
Right.
You, nobody else.
You go to sleep with yourself every day.
And you will be with yourself until you leave your body. Then if you know that you are the love of your life, you will do whatever in your power to keep the love of your life always happy.
Right.
Instead of judge her, punish her, you will love her, you will forgive her whatever she does, and she will always be happy. We can say from that point on, you live smart.
Right, living smart. Why are we so afraid to love, though? Why do we get to that point where, people start projecting, or they start to be who they're not being authentic, they want to put their best foot forward? Why are we so afraid?
Well, we are afraid of the unknown. Then everything that we know make us feel safe, even if that go against us, because this is the only thing we know. When we was like 2-3 years old, we have no knowledge in our mind. We learn everything, and by knowing that make us feel safe. But at the same time, we're afraid if we don't know something. Then we have the need to know, and we ask for an answer. And even if the answer is completely wrong, that makes us feel safe. Then when let's say you fall in love, or you're going to fall in love, it's an unknown thing. You don't know if it will work or not work. Then it's obvious that we are so afraid to fall in love, as we are so afraid to die, as we are afraid to everything that is unknown, because we don't feel secure.
We
But
need that safety.
The truth is unknown. You are unknown. Then by being afraid of the unknown, you really are afraid of yourself.
Right.
When you finally have that awareness that when you was born, you have no knowledge, you find out that you create knowledge, and you really have the power over knowledge. Instead of give the power to knowledge, and knowledge rules your life. Then, like I told you a little before, if you ask me what I am, I will say, well, I don't know. I can use language to try to explain to yourself what I am. I can say, well, I'm a human, I'm a medical doctor, I'm an author. And go a little more into spiritual way, I can say, well, I'm a spirit, I'm light, I'm manifestation. Right. But whatever I say will be just words.
Right.
The truth is, I don't know what I am. and it's okay. Once I find out, what can scare me anymore?
Now, let's talk about that creative energy that everybody wants to talk about, and that's sex. And you say sex is the demon in hell. Tell me about that.
It's the biggest demon in hell.
I thought it was supposed to be great.
Well, because sex is really it's a distorted copy of a truth. Because the truth is that you're a woman, I'm a man, and we come here to make love and create more children.
Procreate.
And there's no problem. But when we learn, knowledge tells us, well, men should be this way, women should be this way, this is the rules, you need to be married, etc., etc. And we sacrifice ourselves for love. Then it's all those rules about love and we believe all those lies. And evil is nothing but the result of belief in lies. As believing through this goodness, well, believing all those lies in different degrees is what we know as evil. Then, like we said a little before, the conflict in the mind is between the truth and lies, and the result is good or evil. Then, if we see that sex is completely distorted and is claimed the human sacrifice, well, this is the biggest demon in hell. Because, I will give everything for that love. I will sacrifice myself. And when you're a teenager, you see this man and you say, my love will make him change. Well, it's not true.
You don't have to be a teenager to think that, right?
Well, but this is the classical example.
But you talk about how the mind doesn't need sex.
No.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's the body.
Because supposedly we all need sex.
Well, not really the mind. It's, the mind can say, I need shoes, I need clothes, I need a house. You open your dress room and it's full of clothes and you say, I have nothing to wear. It's the same with sex also. Then in the mind, it's not real, it's relative. But for the body, it is real. It's just like eating or drinking water.
When you say, though, you need to, one of the things that you notice when you want to master a relationship is to communicate better, to really get your point across. How do you learn to do that in a way that creates a relationship?
Well, once that you finish with yourself, you know what you want and what you don't want.
And you're not afraid to share it.
Exactly. And you're not afraid to ask for what you want or to give yourself. Because love really is about giving. It's about generosity. Because I love you, I just give myself, but I'm not expecting anything in return. Right. I don't want to take your freedom, but I will not give you my freedom either. Then you can do with your life whatever you need to do with your life. And I respect whatever is in your belief system, whatever is in your dream. And I will not allow you to come with my story and control me. No. I love you, I set you free, and in that way, you are so free to be whatever you want to be. Yes, then if in your freedom you decide to stay with me, what a great pleasure, but it's your decision, not my decision.
But a lot of people stay in very abusive relationships or in bad relationships, and they do it
of people
right
do that.
And do it over and over and over. So what's going on, and what do we need to do to stop that?
Well, first of all, we need to be aware that we are responsible for this beautiful, wonderful body and love.
Right.
Because when you love yourself so much, you will not allow that anybody come and mistreat you.
Well, what's the difference between self-love and narcissism?
Oh, it's a big, big difference. Narcissism comes from life. You say, I'm the most beautiful, and you see in the mirror, and you can say that. But the truth is that you don't believe that. You always, as beautiful you are, you always will find something that you don't like, and all your attention will go to that place that you don't like. And I say, well, just a little fat here, maybe I'm getting old, maybe the wear. Then that narcissism is just an image that we want to project to people, and we want to believe it, but it's not true. Self-love, we really don't care anybody's opinions. Our concept is completely different, because it's as beautiful a newborn baby that someone that almost died, that is 80, 90 years old. They're beautiful too. then who said that whatever the magazines say, this is the concept of beauty, that is truth? Mm-hmm. No, you are beautiful just the way you are. And if you cannot see yourself that beautiful, well, you need to work with yourself.
Right.
You have to put all your faith in yourself.
Now, you use examples all the time throughout your book about love and dogs. Why do you do that?
Well, because it's a very easy way to understand. Because if we mistreat the dog, well, we are mistreating ourselves in a certain way. Then if we love the dog more than we love ourselves, and we allow that other people treat us as we were dogs, you understand the...
Oh, yeah, it's the unconditional love.
Yes.
What about your views on the bees and flies?
Oh, that's so
I like
beautiful.
that.
It's one of the many mythologies that I create and I share with everybody. We can say that, it's just a story, of course, that flies like poo and bees like honey.
Right.
Then I compare humans as a bee or as a fly. If you're a fly, what are you looking for? Mm-hmm. And if you're a honey, what are you looking for? Mm-hmm. And if you're honey, why you want that flies come and get you? Or vice versa.
Right, right. Would you say the definition of love is someone caring for you as opposed to someone needing you?
Not at all. You don't need anything.
You don't need anything.
This is beautiful. Some of the Beatles that say all you need is love. Well, this is a big lie. It's not true. I love the music. I love the Beatles. I enjoy the song, but it's not true. You don't need what you are.
Right.
How can you need love when you really love?
You are love.
Exactly.
How do you know you're living smart?
Oh, it's so easy because I'm very happy and I enjoy my life the best I can.
And you love yourself. Thank you so much.
Wow, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for joining us. And now on our green tips, native planting and rain gardens with the owner of Piney Woods Nursery, Jason McKenzie.
A rain garden is a garden, an ornamental garden, designed to catch and retain rainwater to allow it to percolate into the ground instead of running off into the ditches and streams. Rain gardens come in all shapes and sizes. All you need is rain, a slope, and a low area with which to put your plants. Types of plants that you can get for your rain garden are plants like Gulf Coast penstemon, Iris virginica, or Virginia sweetspire. These plants are moderate and can tolerate quite a bit of water, but can also tolerate it when it's dry, when it hasn't rained. You should consider using some of the native marginal plants from your area.
To learn more about green tips and the mastery of love, go to our website. There you'll also find a complete resource list. You can also email us or call us with your comments at 713-743-8513. And that's